8 a.m. local, November 6, 2025, Caribbean Sea, 70 nautical miles north of Venezuela. The water lies flat as poured jade under an amber sun. MV Ocean Serenity makes 15 knots toward Barbados, 482 feet of white steel, 11,200 tons in quiet glide, 377 passengers from 17 nations drifting between coffee and the pool. A saxophone threads through salt air. A gull rides the slipstream. No one on Deck 10 sees the weather change on the captain's radar. Before we continue, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm and to show your support. At 8:46 a.m., the first smear blooms at the southern edge of the scope, a shimmer where there shouldn't be one. Captain William Harris, 54, 28 years at sea, leans closer as a second smear blossoms. A hiss of static nicks the radio, then a clipped fragment in Spanish. Oro gringo rapido. He lifts binoculars. Far on the heat-silvered horizon, the sea darkens as if bruised. Sweep that sector again. Full scan, he tells his first officer. The sweep paints and clears, and still the unease grows. Beyond the mirage line, tucked along Piracy Bay, 15 black skiffs idle behind the reef. Yamaha 250S, muttering red shark emblems wet on their hulls. 12 men per boat, 180 total. Alaska, 103S and M60S slung ready. RPG-7 tubes angled like harpoons, waiting for the order. The order comes from a crumbling warehouse near Piracy Bay, where a scarred man who once wore Venezuelan commando tabs circles a set of coordinates with a grease pencil and says, "Take everything. Leave no one alive." The skiffs surge as one, bows biting, 42 knots across green glass, wakes stitching white rakes that close distance with cruel arithmetic. On Ocean Serenity, the laughter on deck drowns the distant thunder. At 10:14 a.m., the sea goes tight. On Harris's scope, a swarm of high-closure contacts blooms all at once. General alert, level 2. He never makes level 3. The first RPG flashes from the horizon, a white lance that crosses 3 miles in seconds, hitting starboard low and tearing a 3.6-meter mouth in the hull. The ship shudders, glass avalanches in the ballroom. 2 lifeboats rip off davits and tumble like toys. A second rocket rips the promenade. Flame licks outward, gutters, and returns. Screams chase the alarm klaxons down steel corridors. Harris keys the mic, voice steady but tight. Mayport, this is Ocean Serenity. Under attack by multiple armed boats. Immediate assistance required. Out of the haze, the skiffs appear, long and black, guns hot. Hundreds of rounds rake rails and windows, punching neat, angry holes through painted steel. Grapnels arc and bite. 5 men climb, boots thudding over teak, mouths spitting. Dinero, joyas, muévanse. A Canadian tourist folds with a shoulder hit. A deckhand drags him behind a lifebuoy locker as blood blooms on wood. Crew shove families into interior corridors. No windows, 2 bulkheads between them and the sea. The luxury ship becomes a drifting citadel under assault by men with nothing left to lose. At 10:39 a.m., the distress finally cuts clean through RF clutter inside Naval Station Mayport. 1 red blip pulses north of Venezuela. Civilian ID squawking, audio trembling. Pirates attacking civilians on board. Rear Admiral Charles McAdams, 58, doesn't convene a meeting. Launch Operation Iron Line. Eyes, guns, people in the air now. Flight lines snap awake. 3 MH-60R Seahawks, 1 UH-60, and a P-8 a Poseidon Claw into humid sky while 65 Naval Special Warfare operators lock plates and cinch gloves. M4A1S with SOCOM cans, MK-13 Mod 7S set for glassed shots, Scar H in Overwatch, breaching kits and trauma bags riding alongside flex cuffs and chem lights. Far East, A-10C Thunderbolt II2s spool at a forward strip, twin racks of MKD2S/GBU-12S, and the GAU-8A Avenger 30mm Truth that ends arguments. At 10:54 a.m., the first Seahawk drops to 90 meters. From the left seat, the pilot sees muzzle flashes strobing along Serenity's starboard rail and skiffs nuzzling ladders against paint. Target confirmed. The rope master slaps shoulders. Fast rope. 4 down, 4 more. Then the second bird dumps a stick amid the keening whine of ricochets. 5 seconds from rope to stack. Weapons up. Angles covered. The first M4 double-tap hammers a pirate mid-charge. A second man reaches for a passenger and snaps backward. Shoulder erased by a .300 Win Mag sent from a sniper prone under the pool bar awning. 7 minutes of controlled brutality later, 5 boarders are down, 29 hostages free of a stairwell choke point, and 4 civilians are on the UH-60 with chest seals and pressure dressings already taped. A Seahawk gunner rips a Hydra 70. A flanking skiff detonates into a corrugated pillar of flame. The others falter, then scatter. The comms tech in the second stick pulls a scorched pirate handheld off the deck, peels back heat-bubbled plastic, and coaxes out a compressed burst of coordinates: 10° 51N, 62° 32W Jungle Ridge near La Guaira, mangroves, fuel drums, a repeater still breathing. That's the nest, McAdams says, eyes like winter. Rescue shifts to strike. We end this today. By 11:22 a.m., the Osprey lopes low over wave tops. Nacelles canted, 20 Marines shoulder to shoulder. M27 IARs locked in racks. Breachers checking tape on charges. Combat lifesavers counted off with 2 fingers. Overhead, 5 A-10Cs roll lazy ovals at 9,000 feet. Pods already drawing lines on a landscape of mud roofs, blue drums, and watchtowers stilted over swamp water. The coordinates lead to a crescent of coastline where mangroves stitch black veins through brackish creeks. Heat signatures tick past 70. Crates stenciled Cyrillic. RPG tubes. Bricks wrapped in blue tape by the pallet. The air tastes like wet heat and gasoline. At 11:41 a.m., the ramp yawns, and Marines step into ankle-deep water, then into mangrove roots, then into a thigh-burning slope of vine and red clay. 2 minutes in, the world goes to tracers. AK-103S, chatter from the gate tower, 600 rounds a minute into leaves and air. Bark explodes along trunks. A helmet rings. The line keeps moving. M27S answer in tight 6 to 8 round strings. Optics at 1 power to fight the jungle. A 40 mm arcs and pops. Head EP chews a hinge. The gate screams down. Bravo moving in. 4 RPGs belch deeper inside. Smoky corkscrews missing the Osprey by blind luck as it orbits high. A grenade rolls out hot and detonates short. A Marine takes shrapnel high on the calf. Tourniquet on. Jaw set. Rifle back up. The JTAC sings 9 line to the hogs, cool as iced coffee. Cleared hot, Type 2. Vehicles along the tree line. Friendlies 2 clicks west. Egress southeast feet wet. The first A-10 kisses a Hilux convoy with a GBU. 15 fuel drums cook off in a chain of orange thunder that folds a watchtower like a child's toy. The second pass is the gun. The GAU-8's metallic growl arrives like a storm rolling iron. Defensive line gone in 2 heartbeats. Sandbags liquefy. Steel surrenders. Men dive and don't get up. By 11:59 a.m., the compound is a geometry problem solved with explosives. A 200-yard bowl of fire-breathing soot into a sky turned white with heat. Survivors sprint for the jungle and run into overlapping fields of fire where Marines already predicted flight lines. 58 down, 23 zip-tied, palms out and eyes wide. Weapons stacked and saved. 73 AK-103S, 9 RPG-7S, belts of 7.62 and 12.7, a pallet jack of wrapped bricks, 1.2 million in banded cash bagged and tagged, cereals that will make phones ring in Trinidad and Suriname. Target neutralized, McAdams says, voice flat. Operation Tide of Fire complete. 37 minutes from first shot to last. By 4 p.m., smoke from La Guaira scribbles a black helix over the coast. Poseidon rides a cold arc overhead, SAR and GMTI washing the mangroves. Across the theater, the ledger hardens into numbers even cynics can't blink away. 180 pirates neutralized, 68 killed, 47 wounded, 65 detained, 1.4 tons of cocaine seized, 73 rifles, and 9 RPGs off the board. 1.2 million in cash collapsed into evidence bags that smell like diesel and sweat. On Ocean Serenity, now bracketed by 2 U.S. destroyers, Navy docks finished the last dressings. 3 passengers with minor wounds, no dead. 377 souls who looked into the black hole and lived to watch a sunset. The Pentagon issues 21 words that feel like steel. Any attack on American civilians will be met with decisive and absolute force, no matter where it originates. That evening, Harris stands alone at the bow. Gold ladders of light walk the sea. He touches a rail puckered by a round and whispers, "We thought the ocean was peace itself. We forgot who keeps it that way." Within 48 hours, 10 patrol ships and 12 MQ-9 Guardians grid the corridor from Aruba to Grenada to Barbados. AIS anomalies get phone calls. Skiffs that once cut lanes now turn docile or turn back. Paradise is still paradise. It just has sentries at the gate. Dawn, November 7th. The sea smooths itself as if nothing happened. Reporters call it the Battle of the Caribbean. For the passengers, it's simpler. A scar on the deck, a warm wind on the face, a sunrise you taste. For the pilots and sailors, it's a checklist that closed out clean. For the men who planned the raid, it's a crater where a fortress used to be and handcuffs where power used to sit. McAdams briefs the president with one line that finds its way into classrooms, where junior officers learn ugly truths. The ocean was quiet until we made it speak. Ocean Serenity bows toward Nassau, hull wounded, spirit unbroken, the destroyers flanking in silent geometry. As the sun climbs and turns the waves to molten gold, one truth endures. Seas don't stay peaceful by accident. If you believe this story deserves to be heard, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these untold battles alive.